Welcome to St. Mark's Class of 2020 Diploma Ceremony. The ceremony will begin momentarily. We ask that you please remain in your seats for the duration of the program. In the event of an emergency, please exit the tent and we will all gather at the field on the corner of Main Street and Route 85. Both students and guests should head to this location. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I have a bottom half of my face. This is amazing. So incredibly good to see you. Can't believe how many of you are back. Oh my goodness, it fills my heart. So let's see if you remember this. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Lord, behold our family here assembled. We thank you for this place in which we dwell, for the love that unites us, for the peace accorded to us this day, for the health, the work, the food, and the bright skies that make our lives delightful, for our friends and for our family in all parts of the earth. Give us courage, gaiety, and the quiet mind. Spare to us our friends, soften to us our enemies. Bless us if it may be in all our innocent endeavors, and if it may not, give us the strength to encounter that which is to come. May we be brave in peril, constant in tribulation, temperate in wrath, and in all changes of fortune, loyal and loving to each other. Amen.
And the school prayer, which is in your leaflet. Vouchsafe, O Lord, to prosper with thy blessing the work of St. Mark's School. Grant that all who serve thee here, whether as governors, teachers, or learners, may set thy holy will ever before them, and do that which is well-pleasing in thy sight, that so both the church and the commonwealth of this land may be bettered by their efforts, and they themselves finally be made partakers of everlasting life, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Well, good morning. On June 6, 2020, I said to you, class of 2020, this is your day. And it was. It marked a significant achievement, the completion of your St. Mark's diploma requirements. On that day, in a remote ceremony, and 2 days earlier, when I awarded prizes, also remotely, we celebrated your many accomplishments, individually and as a class. We at St. Mark's worked hard to make the 2020 prize days special for you, and I got feedback that under the circumstances, we did well. However, a number of you told me in the weeks leading up to Prize Day 2020 that what you also wanted is what we are doing now, gathering together, as many as could make it, for a ceremony when you could receive your diplomas in person. I am deeply honored that an idea which could have easily faded away in the intervening months as you moved on to the next phases of your life stayed strong. And 67, more than 80% of the class is here today, along with family members and friends. And for those not able to be with us physically, I am deeply honored that so many of you are joining virtually via this live stream. So it feels entirely appropriate for me to say again today, class of 2020, this is your day, and a very special day at that. I know I speak for my faculty and staff colleagues in saying you have and always will have a special place in our hearts because of what we experienced together last spring. We especially appreciate the way you maintained a positive attitude last spring as more and more of your sixth form spring was taken away because of COVID. Thank you for the way you continued to play an important leadership role as we adjusted to the remote way of doing school, making the best of a really hard situation. And thank you to so many of you for coming back this weekend so that we can see you, catch up, and wish you well in a way that we could not last spring. Most important, I know, is the chance for you to see each other, something that you could not do last spring, and something many of you have not been able to do since the winter of 2020. I hope this is the first of many times you will be here on the St. Mark's campus as graduates. And I hope for those of you in the class of 2020 who are joining this ceremony remotely that we will see you on campus frequently too in the future. Class of 2020, you are always welcome here at our school, at your school. Before proceeding further, I was wondering if you members of the class of 2020 could rise and give your parents and other family members and friends and St. Mark's faculty members a round of applause in appreciation for everything they have done to make it possible for you to be here now. Thank you. As you well know, you would not be here today poised to receive your diploma without all that support. So in addition to many current faculty and staff, we have with us here today some beloved former faculty and staff that I would like us to welcome and appreciate. Ginny and Rick Umaker, Marion Donovan, and Loris Adams are with us. I would like to take a few minutes now to offer special thanks to some people whose particular efforts have been essential to this diploma ceremony going smoothly for us all. First, thank you to the Advancement Office, especially Megan Highland, who have gone to great lengths to make this ceremony very special. Thank you to the facilities and grounds crew teams who have made the campus, both outside and inside, look tremendous. Thank you particularly to Sandra Duran for her leadership of this effort. Thank you to the Communications Office for providing information about this event and for helping to create slideshows for students not in attendance. And thank you to members of the administrative staff, most particularly my assistant, Marissa Papazian, without whose efforts this event would not have been possible. We all owe a particular debt of gratitude to Karen Bryant, who has worked tirelessly to ensure that all aspects of this ceremony are just the way we would want it within the limits of what is possible. These and other members of the adult community have gone to great lengths to ensure that everything about this ceremony truly honors you, the class of 2020. Everybody involved has displayed the essence of St. Mark's, doing whatever it takes to get the work done in an outstanding way, meeting the standard of Age Quod Agis. So now we will have the pleasure to hear a couple of reflections from some people very special to the class. First, our faculty speaker, David Lyons. For those of you in the audience who do not know Mr. Lyons, he has been at St. Mark's since 1995, teaching many courses over that time in the History and Social Sciences department and serving for many years as History and Social Sciences Department Chair. Mr. Lyons has been head varsity baseball coach, and he is currently head boys cross-country coach and head varsity golf coach. Given the depth of Mr. Lyons' caring for students, his inspirational teaching and coaching and advising, and the wise counsel he offers to so many, it is no surprise that when we asked the class of 2020 who they would like to address the class on this occasion, we heard loud and clear, Mr. Lyons.
I was a bit concerned when I came up here that my hands might be shaking. When I was concerned about that, though, I thought it was going to be nerves, not hypothermia. However, as you guys showed, we can all make do in difficult circumstances. Welcome to all who are here to celebrate the St. Mark's class of 2020. Most importantly, welcome to the members of the class of 2020. It's great to have you back on your campus. As you know, I coach cross country at St. Mark's, and I have one preliminary matter that I want to address before I get to my talk. When I coach, like lots of coaches, I try to teach my team various lessons. One of those is the importance of punctuality. In fact, I'm sure that one of my former captains, Blake Gattuso, who's with us today as a member of your class, can tell you what time is on time. Blake? 5 minutes early. That's a great code to live by. The class of 2020, I have one simple question for each and every one of you. Where the heck have you been? You're not 5 minutes early to get your diploma. By my calculations, you're about 500,000 minutes late. Not a good start on the punctuality point. Nonetheless, as late as you are, as late as we all are, it's great to have you back on your campus. You left St. Mark's on March 6, 2020, expecting a normal spring break. However, soon nothing was normal. You did not return from March 6 until today. You must have experienced great disappointment not going through the normal high school departure rituals. If your experience in high school was anything like mine, you made some of your most meaningful, lifelong friendships in high school. In fact, I married someone who I met in secondary school, so I'm well aware of the importance of those relationships. Others are aware of those relationships as well. One of my current advisees in the class of 2021 reflected on the importance of the friendships that you make in high school when, during our final meeting of this year, he noted, quote, "Next year, I hope to stay in touch with my current St. Mark's friends. After my transition from public school to St. Mark's, I lost touch with some friends from middle school as we naturally grew apart. One goal for me in the years ahead is to maintain the impactful relationships that I have fostered at St. Mark's. Despite the school's best efforts last spring to replicate those moments when you get to say goodbye to your friends, we missed those rituals last spring. Those rituals of goodbye, or more likely, see you later. That is why it's so wonderful that so many of you, almost 70 from a graduating class of 83, have returned to school today for some type of normal send-off. The 15 intervening months between your unexpected departure last March and today have been extraordinary and full of lessons for all of us. Some of those lessons have been a bit mundane. For example, before the pandemic, who amongst us fully appreciated the existential importance of toilet paper? As the song goes, you don't miss a good thing till it's gone. Before the pandemic, who amongst us knew that Zoom even existed, let alone that it could connect us across thousands of miles in a pants-optional world? Finally, before the pandemic, who amongst us realized that in the absence of direct human contact, you could hold many, many fascinating conversations with a rotund Labrador named Fred and his new frenemy, Bernie? Of course, most of the pandemic's lessons have been far more substantial. We learned a number of lessons, all of us. For example, we learned the fragility of good health and life itself, as we witnessed at least 170 million people worldwide contract the coronavirus, and over 3.5 million people die from this terrible disease. We learned, especially after January 6th and the attack on our Capitol, that democracy, like life, is a fragile gift that we should not take for granted. We also saw the awesome power of human beings to make improvements when disaster hits, most strikingly, the incredible rapid creation of life-saving vaccines. Unfortunately, we also became aware of the world's inequality, which resulted in some of us having access to these amazing vaccines, while others are still left to the pandemic's terrible toll. Finally, we learned, yet again, about our country's original sin, racism. The past year taught the repeated lesson that we have a long journey ahead to reach this nation's founding promise of equality. We want to learn from these lessons. We want to make sense of these traumatic events. We want to gain insights about what the future holds for all of us. Ironically, the one place we have to look for wisdom about what might happen in the future is the past. Toward that end, I'd like to share a few quotes from Yale history professor named Frank Snowden, no relation to the other Snowden. Professor Snowden, who has studied the social impacts of past epidemics, was recently asked to reflect on the ways in which epidemics have shaped the modern world. He responded by saying, quote, "Epidemics are a category of disease that seem to hold up a mirror to human beings as to who we really are. They also are a window into the moral relationships that we have towards each other as people." Snowden went on to say, quote, "We need as human beings to realize that we're all in this together, that what affects one person anywhere affects everyone everywhere, that we are therefore inevitably part of a species and need to think in that way rather than about divisions of race, ethnicity, and economic status. This call for a renewed emphasis on human equality is much needed. By nearly every economic measurement, our nation has become a less equal place during my lifetime. To give you one example, between 1979, when I was just entering high school, and 2017, the real wages earned in the United States by someone in the top 0.1% grew 343%, while wages for those in the bottom 90% increased a paltry 22% over those 38 years. The disparities across racial lines are even more stark. According to the Federal Reserve Bank, in our own backyard of Greater Boston, the median household wealth for whites is almost $250,000. For African Americans, it's $8. Think about that. How do we go forward to promote a more just society? I'm not sure that your generation should pose that question to my generation. I've always found it odd in the many graduation ceremonies that I've gone to when an older person tells younger people, "Here's a mess we older folks have made. Now, I, a member of the group that helped screw things up in the first place, will tell you how to clean it up." Instead, note that the St. Mark's mission statement says that you have all been educated for lives of leadership and service. It's time to get started. As you move into positions of leadership in the years ahead, stay conscious of the fact that we are all, simply because we are part of the St. Mark's community, privileged. Because of that, we may have a tendency to use our costly educations, powerful positions, and other privileges to justify our own good fortune and live comfortably within our elite bubbles. But it's easy to convince ourselves that we have earned and we therefore deserve an increasingly outside allocation of society's rewards. However, my only advice to you is to resist this urge. Instead, again, follow the St. Mark's mission statements and its call to value cooperation over self-interest. Be the type of leader who finds effective ways to share good fortune. I will leave you with a story that I think illustrates this point. The author Michael Lewis, who's written many great things, including Moneyball, told this story at Princeton a few years ago. Truth be told, I also used a version of this story at my son Joey's 2016 St. Mark's Baccalaureate, but I suspect that none of you graduates are there, so a little recycling can't hurt. Lewis noted in his story that researchers recently staged an experiment. They placed student volunteers into teams of 3. They placed these teams of 3 into a room, and they arbitrarily assigned one of those 3 to be the leader. Then they gave the team some kind of complicated moral problem to solve. Exactly 30 minutes into this experiment, the researchers interrupted each of these groups. They entered the room bearing a plate of delicious cookies. There were 4 cookies. The teams, as I said, consisted of 3 people. But there were these 4 cookies. Every team member obviously got 1 cookie, but that left a 4th cookie just sitting there. It should have been awkward, but it was not. The person arbitrarily appointed the leader of each group invariably grabbed the 4th cookie and ate it. Not only ate it, but ate it with gusto, lips smacking, mouth wide open, drool at the corners. This leader had performed no special task. This leader had no special virtue. Just 30 minutes earlier, the leader had been chosen at random. His status was nothing but sheer luck. But it still left him with a sense that the extra cookie could and should be his. This experiment is relevant to us. It's relevant to me. It's relevant to you, the newest St. Mark's graduates. In a general sort of way, we have been appointed leaders of the groups. Our appointment may not be entirely arbitrary, but you must sense its arbitrary aspects. We in this room are the lucky few. We are lucky in our parents, and you can thank them for that after this ceremony. Louis. We are lucky in our country. We are lucky that a place like St. Mark's exists that can take lucky people, introduce them to other lucky people, and increase their chance of becoming even luckier. We are lucky that we live in one of the richest societies the world has ever produced, during a time when few expect us often to sacrifice our interests to much. All of us will be faced at some point with the extra cookie, possibly many extra cookies. In time, we will find it easy to assume that we deserve the extra cookies. For all I know, you may. However, we will be happier, and the world will be better if we share. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons, for your reflection on the many lessons of the past 15 months. Such important context for this day and this event. We will now hear reflections from the class of 2020 co-head monitors, Ashley Batiata and Alexander Sumner. Since Alexander gave the first chapel talk in 2019-20, Ashley and Alexander decided that Ashley would speak first today. So Ashley, the floor is yours.
I'm just checking my hair. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome finally to the long-awaited Class of 2020 graduation ceremony. I'm so happy to be standing here one last time and get to properly finish what we all started. It makes me even happier seeing all of your faces and being reunited with the people I shared 4 pivotal years of my life with. Thank you, parents, for not only coming, but giving life to my classmates and some of my closest friends, allowing me to share this moment with them. Hello to some of the alumni I see in the crowd. It's very refreshing seeing your faces. And hello to faculty and staff. I know you must be as excited as we are. I know you must be as excited as we are to see us one more time, considering our goodbye was rudely interrupted by a pandemic. There are some teachers that unfortunately couldn't make it today, and I don't know if I'll ever get to properly say goodbye to them. But I hope you're watching this live stream, and if you are, we miss you and we appreciate everything you have done for us as teachers, dorm parents, and athletic coaches. Now, I'm going to be honest, I struggled a little bit writing this speech. It's been a year since we last saw each other, and since our entire class went our separate ways to tackle our college adventures. Some of us went as far as Texas, Colorado, and California, and some of us stayed close to home, like myself. Others who were impacted by the pandemic chose to do school remotely, at home. Even then, home means Massachusetts, New York, California, South Korea, China, Ukraine, looking at you, Ilya, and France, that one's for WAPs. But with the literal distance and the years since I've seen a lot of you, I was left a little speechless. The more I thought about this speech, I realized I didn't want to talk about a life goal, the person who influenced me the most, or something that changed me at St. Mark's. We've all heard those types of speech, and though they're great, I'm not here to bore you. So instead, I will be talking about my first times at St. Mark's. Now, I know that sounds a little weird, but what I mean is all the times I tried something new at St. Mark's or experienced something for the first time. I realized that there were a lot of firsts for me in college, and I'm sure there were a lot of firsts for you guys as well. Maybe that was the first time having a roommate for some of you day students, being away from home, or being in a new state. Whatever it was, we experienced a lot of firsts. But I'm going to take it back to St. Mark's and discuss some of my personal firsts with the hopes of relating it back to you guys. Now, one last little preface before I really begin. Some of these firsts, after hearing them, you may look at me and be like, come on, Ashley, was that really your first time doing that? How have you never done that before? It's so common. Or, psh, if you hadn't done that, then what the heck were you doing before? Well, to be honest, not that much. I guess I hadn't really lived before St. Mark's. I mean, I grew up in Lawrence, Massachusetts, a small city full of Hispanic people, and we do not partake in a lot of cool activities. Your normal was not my normal at all. And I'm sure that sentence is relatable for a lot of you guys, especially my people of color. This is why some of these moments were genuine firsts for me. All right, so let's kick it back to freshman year. Now I'm smiling because freshman year came with so many firsts and so many wonderful memories. It was my first time having a roommate, and simultaneously my first time meeting someone from South Korea. Shout out to Miss Amy Kim, where are you? I can't find her. Shout out to Miss Amy Kim, the OG who introduced me to K-pop, spicy ramen, and a couple of other things from Korean culture. Rooming with Amy my first year was so interesting because we were two completely different people from vastly different cultures and from extremely different parts of the world. I lived in Massachusetts, 40 minutes away from St. Mark's, and Amy lived in Seoul, Korea. Rooming with Amy showed me what true jet lag was. To all my international classmates, y'all are troopers, serious heroes who deserve more recognition and honestly emotional support. They don't deal with a small 2-hour time zone difference or even 6 hours. They're dealing with a 13-hour time difference, and that's crazy. Amy, if I ever woke you up from one of your midday naps, I'm so sorry. I did not understand the seriousness of the situation. I admire all of you for that, and for those who will continue to deal with it in college. A round of applause, please, for our international students. Moving forward to one of my favorite times. Now, I'm sure we all remember Brantwood. Such a good time. And I mean that wholeheartedly, not sarcastically at all. I truly love Brantwood, and within that came 3 firsts. All right, here we go. First time hiking a mountain, Mount Monadnock if you remember. First time building a fire, and first time spending an entire day without my phone. Now this is where y'all are gonna say, Ashley, you've never been hiking before, or come on, didn't you go to summer camp and eat s'mores by the campfire? No, and no. I lived vicariously through Disney Channel and Nickelodeon movies where the kids were doing this, and did I live through SpongeBob's campfire song. And if you know what I'm talking about, then your childhood was great. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, because maybe your parents didn't allow you to watch SpongeBob, well, that's good parenting on their part. But yes, This was my first time hiking a mountain and building a fire, and I loved it. I remember getting to the top of the mountain. The only thing keeping me going was the fact that I could finally eat and enjoy my ham and cheese sandwich that I was starving for. Oh, and the view too, it was pretty. It was really pretty. But in all seriousness, the view did keep me going. Though a little foggy at such a high altitude, I never got to see this part of the world. It felt so liberating, a whole new feeling. And to think that my 14-year-old technology-wired self spent a week without my phone, to my surprise, it wasn't bad at all. I had bigger things to worry about, like the mosquitoes, how my hair looked, the little critters I'd hear at night, or the freezing cold water. Yeah, all those things kept me a little preoccupied. But nonetheless, I loved it. That entire experience was a first for me, and I made a ton of friends, bonded with a couple of y'all, made some friendship bracelets, cooked together with Tiani, and played some spike ball. All good memories. You know what? Speaking of spike ball, that is another first for me. And boy, is St. Mark's crazy for spike ball. I've never seen anything like it. If I could describe my sophomore year in five words, it would be playing spike ball at West Campus. Every single day, after our fall and spring sports, we would gather on Westfield right after dinner and right before study hall to play some spike. Now, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't really good at it. But that wasn't the point. I mean, the guys may think differently because they treated it like an Olympic sport, but to me and a couple of my friends, we played for fun. That was the thing, though. There was a drastic difference between those who played for fun and those who played competitively. You see, I would never interrupt a game between Grace Gibbons, Alexander Sumner, Noah Robb, or Gordon Walsh. From what I've heard, they put their all into this game, and they might kill me if I interrupt. Funny enough, I don't know why spike is so popular at St. Mark's. Like, is it just as popular at other boarding schools or other ISL schools? I truly don't know, but I'm glad it was a first for me, and thinking about it brings back so many great memories. Now, one of my favorite memories is the time I did something I wouldn't ever thought I would have done. So senior year, me, Luma Allen, Nihanika Noel, Elizabeth Murata, and Madeline Wass sang at the Winter Coffee House. Now, I'm sure you remember the Winter Coffee House. It was a place where anybody could showcase their creative talents, whether that was singing, dancing, playing an instrument, or reading poetry. Now, I cannot do any of what I just listed, especially sing. Emily Taylor, Paula Hornbostel, and Charlotte Galusha can attest to that. But nonetheless, my friends and I did it anyway. You see, this was my thought process. I'm a senior, this is my last year here, so if I embarrass myself, I'll leave in a few months and they'll forget about it. Now that really kept me going. It sounded pretty good to me. So that night, my friends and I impulsively sang Take a Hint by Victorious, and best believe we killed that. Did we sound good? That's up for interpretation. But did we have fun? Yes. And that's all that matters. I encourage you all to do silly things like that when you get the chance. It really calls for great memories and fun experiences. Now, unfortunately, I don't have time to finish my list of firsts, so I'll just state a couple more really quickly. First time going to an opera, and that first time turned out to happen 3 more times. First time buying a lottery ticket, a bit of a backstory there. Shout out to my 2020 monitors. First time running 13 miles, no thank you, cross country. That's ironic after Mr. Lyons just talked about cross country. And first time drumming. I'm referring to our girl and I, by the way. Nihanika, Laura, Grace, and I killed that. Absolutely killed that. Right? Yeah. So there you have it. A couple of my first times at St. Mark's and many more to experience in life. I hope your first semesters in college were full of many firsts, and if they were limited by the pandemic, we got 3 more years of college ahead and hopefully a long and healthy life ahead of you as well. We did it, guys. We graduated. Better late than never, right? Again, thank you to everyone who helped put this event together. Thank you, Mr. and Dr. Warren, and thank you, parents, for coming. To my class of 2020, I love you guys, and I wish you nothing but the best in life. Here's to many firsts. Thank you. Now, I would like to introduce the person who I always butt heads with, but can confide with at the end of the day. Please welcome my co-head monitor, Alexander Sumner. Were you supposed to do that?
Thank you for the kind words, Ashley. I really appreciate it. It's been a long time, y'all, but let's get into it. A couple things to start. I go by Alexander now. My dad is Alex. Can everybody say hi to my dad over there? Can you stand up, please? Let's try and make him as uncomfortable as possible. Yeah, there we go. I really did not want to mention the big elephant in the room during my speech. I thought about letting the past stay in the past and shoving away all the memories of an unprecedented outbreak. How hard could it be not to mention it? But how could I not? It took up so much of our senior year. Eastern equine encephalitis was really tough on us. I mean, no late practices, so close to having no bonfire for garden night. Those mosquitoes, man, they can get you. In all seriousness, however, I need to acknowledge that this is not prize day. This ain't right. And we can pretend and wish that last year didn't happen the way that it did, but as funny as it was to tell my friends at college that I was graduating today, a year after I was supposed to, it's not right. We're missing people in our class, in our families, in our lives. And I want to acknowledge the people who would have been at our prize day last year, the people who should be here today, sitting amongst ourselves or sitting with the rest of our families. In every capacity, they deserve a round of applause. So let's do that. Now, it's been a long time. I go to UNC Chapel Hill, and like many of us, I didn't get a chance to go to college right away. But in the short time that I did get to spend in a state that I had never been in before, I met a lot of great people and made a lot of great friends. And they said they'd give me $10 if I name dropped them during this speech. So thanks to Sierra and Griffin, I am now $20 richer. Thank you. One thing I wish I learned before going to college in the South is that the phrase, I went to boarding school, immediately needs to be followed by, no, I did not try and murder anyone. Or, don't worry, my parents love me, I think. Yeah, it took me about 12 times to figure out why people were taking a step back when I told them about my high school. I'll just say this. If you ever thought St. Mark's was like a prison, from the stories I've heard, you are wrong. It's been a long time. A lot has happened. My wardrobe no longer consists of a 5-step rotation of St. Mark's orientation apparel. I'm driving now. I got my ears pierced. I got my hair braided. My mom is kicking me. Sorry, that was not supposed to be in the final draft. We're college kids. Yep, we actually did it. I know, crazy, but you know what? Some things never change. Charles Brookby is still my soulmate. My parents' curfew for me is still 5 p.m. on the dot. And every time I find myself in Massachusetts, Clockwork Pizza down the street is very much still on the menu. It's been a long time. I miss y'all. Not because I peaked in high school. I refuse to believe that, even though all the evidence suggests otherwise. I miss y'all because I see people around me, and I'm constantly reminded of us. I'm reminded of Jenny Tang's sense of style, or Luis Perez and his laugh and his way of consistently getting under my skin. Or finding someone new that I can confide in like I can with Ashley. Or watching UNC basketball games when we play against Virginia Tech, hoping Sophie Student is watching in disbelief as her school is down by 20. Or hearing someone stumble for words and thinking, oh, that is so wapple. Can you blame me? I spent some of the best days of my life with you all. I spent some of the best weeks and months and years living with you all. And as much as my parents are responsible for who I am as a person, so are all of you. The good, the bad, and the painful invasiveness that St. Mark's has to offer. These are things we will carry with us for the rest of our lives. There are pieces of the school that will always be a part of us. There are people of the school who will always be a part of us. And 1 year later, I'm still learning to balance an appreciation of St. Mark's with also being able to move on. It's hard. I'm still navigating that balance. I'm still not sure how to make every right decision. But we're here. We get older and we learn more things. And I know I'm supposed to be older and wiser, but I'm also learning very quickly that younger people seem to know how to handle things a little better than us old folks on the other side. One of the scariest things that has ever happened to me was when this year's monitors took over school meeting remotely last year, and they presented to us, the class of 2020, a fully published, self-illustrated, beautifully coordinated picture book, which we all have under our seats, dedicated to us. It was one of the most incredible things I had ever seen. I was livid. The talent and hard work this year's monitors put into the school was unmatched. The best thing we had to offer was offbeat paint drumming. Although, some people might say they killed it, but I remember at least 4 people texting me after that school meeting, including faculty members, saying, "Oh, they are gonna blow y'all out of the water." I was in so much pain. But then summer ended, and I remembered hearing about it in the fall. Remote learning, no fall grot night, school meetings on Zoom all year long. I was shocked. Is this happening? Is this a time in St. Mark's history when our school's monitors can't have as much fun as possible because of things that are simply out of their control? Are the people I care deeply, deeply, deeply about not going to experience the St. Mark's that I got to experience for 3.5 amazing years? If that's what's happening, then that sucks for everyone there right now. That was Alexander Sumner, the alumni. Alexander Sumner, the head monitor, was ecstatic. I'm like, so no matter what they do, we're still going to be the ones associated with normalcy, the most craved thing on the planet right now? That made me feel good. It made me feel safe, like my legacy was secure for at least another year. But as much as I'd love to say that we would have done as good of a job if these were our conditions, I am really glad we don't have to prove it. So a special thanks to this year's monitors and entire senior class for keeping the school afloat all year long. When the class of 2021 graduates tomorrow, you leave behind so much. But you, just like us, will have taken so much more with you. As the normalcy we all crave seems to get closer and closer, I know we will all be ready to take on the next chapter of our lives. I'm confident in every single one of us, and I hope you all see the capabilities in yourself too. It's been a long time, and I'm glad that we're here today and can see this for what it is. Closure-ish. All we lost will never, ever come back to us the way it should have. Things will never be right. We lost that opportunity. But within that, we have each other. We have memories. We have this place to thank for who we are, for who we will become, and for what we will cherish every single day. I'm glad I'm here. I always have been, and I always will be. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley, for your reflection on your firsts at St. Mark's, and thank you, Alexander, for your reflections on lessons of your and your classmates' last 15 months. So we have seen yet again how wise your schoolmates and your faculty were in choosing you as head monitors. So we will now move to the presentation of diplomas. So I am going to present roughly half of the diplomas of those of you who are here first, and then I'm going to present virtually the diplomas to your classmates who aren't here. And we'll have a chance to see at least their pictures, and we hope they're with us on live stream, and then I'll come back and hand the rest of the diplomas to those of you who are here. Now, regrettably, Massachusetts guidelines for graduation ceremonies, and we just checked, forbid handshakes, so we can't do that piece of the tradition, but we can do fist bumps as I present your diploma. And we got a little photo op here, so feel free to take off your mask if you would like for the photo. Then you have to put it back on. So thank you for that. And so on with the show. So first, Charles Albert Matthew Savage. Grab that, and then we fist bump. That's right. There we go. Good. Yay. So that's the model, right? And we're in no rush. So a global diploma for Nyla Elise Strong. Assisting me with the presentation of this diploma will be faculty member Jennifer Taylor. So you stand there. This is carefully choreographed. Emily Helen Taylor, a classics diploma. Take all. This is your moment. No rush, no pressure, Miss Taylor. There we go. All right. Thank you. Emma Brooke Viens. All right. You can take your mask off. There we go. Aditya Narasimha Mainampati. A classics and a global diploma for Ilya Rebachar. Hello. Ryan Young-Jun Paik.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Noah Lovell Robb. Luis Angel Perez Galan. Congratulations. A global diploma for Kian Sahani. All right. Dominic Christian Mangillo. Congratulations. Rowan Kapoor. All right. Right. Assisting me with the presentation of this diploma, member of the faculty, David Lyons. Louis Vance Lyons. Nianika Noel. Nikki. Elizabeth Francesca Maratta. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nathaniel Thomas Meggs King. Congratulations. Samantha Williams Leslie. Congratulations. Jordan Chike Uzuchukwu. Skylar Davis.
Thank you.
You're welcome. John Ryder Henry. Congratulations. All right. Hunter Philip Mulvey. Hey, congratulations. Grace Palmer Elizabeth Gibbons. Yeah, you passed the test.
I hope so.
Ashley Crystal Batiata. Congratulations. Truman Clark Chamberlain. Congratulations. Blake Marchant Gattuso. A global diploma for William Matthew Appel. Congratulations. Luma Xavier Allen. Congratulations. Charles Ingerman Brookby. All right, Charles, congratulations. All right. A classics diploma for Sierra Eamon Pettis. Did I say classics diploma is global? Thank you for correcting me. A global diploma for Sierra Eamon Pettis. All right. Good. Congratulations. Reese Henry Hornstein. Congratulations. Peyton Dorothea Kober. All right, congratulations. Sophie Elizabeth Student. Hey, congratulations. All right. So now for folks who I hope are joining us remotely. Chachana Siriyama Ranan. June Suk Jason Park. A classics and a global diploma for Rebecca Boone Porter. Danny Dio Cicciarello. Gordon Armstrong Walsh. A Classics Diploma for Yiwei Will Liu. Hung Fu Trung. Eugene Tang. Junyoung Chris Lee. Jiwoo Kang. Wyatt William Scotty. Yushen Chen. Yevhenia Dubrova. Brett Richard Federico. Thomas Heffernan Bands. Lanrua Laura Shia, a Classics Diploma. And last minute folks who aren't here, who regrettably I don't think we have a picture for, Youngkyu Luke Lee. And Madeline Was. So now back to diplomas for those who are present here today. So assisting me with the presentation of this diploma is William Rand of the class of 1944, who is the grandfather of Paula Tracy Hornbostel. So I'm sorry that Mr. Rand could not be with us here in person, and I'm happy that he is with us virtually and that we have a photograph of him. And Paula, is that you? With him, maybe? Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to get that confirmation. Hey, congratulations. Great. Ava Rose Limoncello. Catherine Ann Pellini. Congratulations. Vaughn Mabs. Congratulations. Joe Suhan Felix. Hey. A Classics Diploma for John Jack Francis Griffin. Congratulations, Jack. Isabel Francis O'Toole. All right. Congratulations, Izzy. Right. Maeve Mackenzie Ahern. Laura Elvira Sabino. Chapin Reed Pine. Assisting me with the presentation of this diploma, staff member Megan Highland. You can take off your... Allison Marie Highland. A global diploma for Paige Catherine Lamalva. Helen Jo Huang. William Burridge Osborne. Congratulations. Assisting me with the presentation of this diploma, faculty member Rob Bauer.
Thank you.
Alexandria Michaela Bauer. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Anualua Rebecca Akibo. Hang on. Right. Phoebe Pratt McLeod. A global diploma for Grace Elizabeth Ray Zawatsky. That's okay. Assisting me with the presentation of this diploma is retired trustee Julia Krupp. Conrad Paul Krupp. Conrad. This is the photo moment. It's great, thanks.
Thank you.
Anishka Aruna Irabothu. Connor Quinn Flaherty. Gavin James Gattuso. Grace Day Wales Kingsbury. A Classics Diploma for Julian Yang. Alexander Nash Sumner. Congratulations.
Thanks.
William Paul Bundy, Jr. John Brian Clarence. Charlotte Wyndham Galusha. Congratulations. Tanuj Surapani. Lydia Elizabeth Rasher. You want to take off your mask?
Oh my God, I forgot.
It's okay.
Sorry. Thank you.
No rush. Great.
Thank you.
Okay. Jonathan Tucker Hartman, Jr. Yojin Amy Kim. You want to take off your map? Okay. There we go. We got it. Robert James Summers. Well, congratulations to you all. I am happy now to introduce Tara Breed, member of the class of 2000, a St. Mark's trustee, and the president of the Alumni Association. She will now formally welcome you, class of 2020, to the St. Mark's Alumni Association.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon. I think we're just at afternoon. St. Mark's, class of 2020, welcome back. I am deeply honored to be with you all today. Your class is composed of a diverse and talented group of individuals representing more than 8 countries and then 12 states across America. Yet you are unified by one similarity. You're all St. Mark's graduates. In fact, this is your first alumni event. Our alumni body is over 4,500 alums strong and represents a sophisticated and global network of alums. This is an invaluable and lifelong network, a great resource for you all as alums. This has been a challenging and extraordinary year in so many ways, and you left St. Mark's as our country and our world confronted twin pandemics. We had a great pause, and now we have a great reset and comeback. So how fitting that you all return here to your St. Mark's family. As your lives and career progress, it is so important that you continue to connect with your fellow Lions and embrace all of the opportunities of being an alum. Attend special events like reunion and regional receptions. Participate in those AEC Connect career networking events, whether virtual or in person. Lead by example and volunteer for the school, like being a class agent or serving as a mentor. Give back to the school and show your gratitude. The lifelong value of your St. Mark's experience extends well beyond Southborough. Your bond with your school will always remain. You may no longer be a student at St. Mark's, but you'll always be a Lion. And your pride of Lions is vast and strong, willing to help with personal or professional connections. What once felt like a bubble on campus is now a global network of CEOs, leaders in nonprofits, advocates for equity, and more. I worked for over a decade in political media at the highest levels, serving in the White House as a press secretary to former First Lady Laura Bush. The job brought me to more than 25 countries with Mrs. Bush, where I prepared her for all media interviews and responded to the press on her behalf. From flights on Air Force One to zooming around in motorcades to working in the East Wing of the White House, there was a sense of living history around me every day. However, there came a time in my career when I was ready to make a really big shift and leave politics behind in order to work in education. As I embarked upon my career shift, my St. Mark's Alum Network was my North Star, my steady and reliable source for alum professional contacts. I hope you too will take advantage of the strength of this network with our platform, SM Lions Connect. If you're moving to a new city, starting a job or an internship search, or contemplating a career change, the SM Lions Connect platform will help you search and connect with fellow alums. I would encourage you guys all to sign up on the alum portion of our website. So, St. Mark's School, class of 2020, on behalf of the school and our alums around the globe, I enthusiastically welcome you as members of the Alumni Association. Thank you, and Age Quod Agis.
Thank you, Tara, for this message and for being part of this special celebration. So, class of 2020, you have actually been graduates for almost a year now, and you did not need a diploma for that status. It is very meaningful to me and to others at St. Mark's that you wanted to receive your diploma in that way. It was great fun to spend time with so many of you last night and to join with you and your families in person and virtually in this ceremony today. So as a close to this ceremony, Reverend Talcott will offer a benediction for that, and then I'll come back and say a couple of words about what we're going to do after the benediction. But Reverend Talcott.
Life is short, and we do not have much time to gladden the hearts of those who journey the way with us. So I ask you, be swift to love and make haste to be kind. And the blessing of God Almighty, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit be among you and remain with you now and forever. Amen.
So due to the rain, wind, and cold, we will not process out of the tent. That seemed a little hard. So I ask that we stand and give the class of 2020 one more round of applause. So rather than a recessional, it's actually going to be some music that will mark the official end of the ceremony. And afterwards, obviously, plenty of opportunity for photos. There are professional photographers in a couple of the corners if you'd like that. And obviously, feel free to take off your masks for the photos. Again, congratulations, class of 2020, and you've made this day special.